Today we've got to fix a stroke limiter. We've got a broken out bolt right here in this section. Got to replace it. The other one's probably compromised too. We'll see if we can just get everything out and fix it. Can't really see a bolt head shredded off in there. I might get lucky. See if we can take this other side out and take a look at it. Make sure it's not damaged. Looks like it is though. Oh yeah, it was just barely holding on there. You can see it's all broke apart. Lucky this thing held up as long as it did. So if it broke off in there, I might as well just put a new block on it, and I'm going to extract the old part out separately. I'm going to get something to remove this nut off of there. Looks like a 17. It's a 17, alright. But I'm going to have issues getting it out, so I'm going to put it back in. See if I can go get a socket to do this. Okay, I got my 17mm ratchet and socket. What I'm going to do is I got to get that block to where it doesn't move on me, so I'm going to take my new bolt that I'm getting and put in the new block, and for temporary we'll see if we can insert it in this side. Hopefully just to keep this from shifting on me. While I extract it. Grab the rubber. Probably won't be able to see it very well, but the rubber on the base of that shock, or on the head of the shock, I'm going to go ahead and grab it with my hand. Keep it from spinning underneath. And just undo the 17mm nylon lock nut. Let's go ahead and get it out. Probably won't be able to see it, or yeah, you can. There is a broken off shaft right in the inside of that block. I'll extract it later. The block's still good. As long as you can get a screw extractor or a bolt extractor, you should be able to salvage this, so it's not a bad part. Alright, so I got the new block we're going to put back in, and we're going to have the it's going to be the flange side of the bushing. It's going to go against the block, and then the bolt will go through that into the block, kind of similar to that orientation, and the bushing will go through this ring. Get out of the light. That bushing will stick out through that ring there with the bolt head on the outside as well. Let's see if we can slip this in here. Probably going to be quite difficult just because of the positioning. Try and set some stuff out of my hands here and make it easier on myself. Let's lift this up. We'll go ahead and stick the bushing in the hole. So the flange is on the inside part. I'm going to put the block up next to it. We'll do this outside first. Hope it'll make the... Alright. One thing I just realized, if I put in one side, it's going to mess up the other side with the bushing wise. So let's go ahead and drop in the secondary bushing right now as well. So I'm putting it through and I'm pushing it out the other side. There we go. Now I'll set my block into place on the inside. Start my threads. If I can find it. go. Then we'll do the same with the other side as well. I'm going to have to tip it back a little to get it away from this chain. Get the shock out of my way. The stroke limiter shock absorber. That's a tight fit. There we go. I think I got it started. It's good. Hold it with my hand. I'm going to look from underneath, make sure that bushing didn't slip out. I don't believe it did. Now everything appears to be okay. I'm going to go ahead and center my stroke limiter shock right over that hole. Put my nylon lock nut back on it. Grip the rubber head on the top of the shock. There we go. My 13mm ratcheting wrench. Go ahead and tighten these down just till it's up next to that bumper. Not not too tight. You have to make sure that excuse me. You have to make sure that if you make it too tight, the stroke limiter will not move freely, and it's got to be able to go up and down freely. It'll bind. So gotta hurry up and finish this. We got groups of kids coming in today. I feel it moving a little, so I'm gonna hold the head of this shock with my socket, keep it from moving so much. Still appears to move freely. I think we're all good. I think we're set back. Alright, and as always, since I got one broke here, it's time for me to go through and check every single lane, see if I got any more broken ones anywhere else. Alright, as I said, once I find something broken, I check all the lanes, and lo and behold, we have one broken on another lane, just the first lane I checked. So we're going to go ahead and take it out as well. Thought I'd show you a view from underneath. We'll go ahead and take out my 13mm bolt on the back side here. Because it is broke off inside the block. It's a long one. We're going to hold the shock, take off the 17mm nylon lock nut from the top. Alright, it wants to be moving. It wants to free spin a little, so I'm gonna. The other side had the broken off threads in it, so I rotated it around this side where I can still get in, and I'm just gonna put a bolt in it for temporary, just to try and hold the block. Okay. Alright. So it broke free now, the top one's spinning. Alright. Take out the 13mm bolt. Take out the nylon lock nut. Move the whole plate. Take out the bad bushings. Forgot a step in the last one that I'm going to go through with you this time, and I'm going to turn around and walk back and go tighten that other lane up like I should have. Put our bushings in first. We're going to put our take our new block, put it in between the bushings. Kind of need a free hand to do this. Blue Loctite, that's the step I forgot. We don't really tighten these things down, they just sit there and kind of free float. So I'm going to put a little bit of blue thread locker on it. I'll put the block back in. Do the same thing on the other one. Remember, blue, not red. You don't need a ton of it either. I'm free spinning this head, which it's almost all the way tight, so it spun the block in the center. So I didn't have to tighten the other bolt in, it just drew it in as I spun the block. Alright, put it up on the stroke limiter so it won't spin while I'm tightening it down. Same thing on the back side. Alright, there we go. Pretty tight, but still free moving. Put our 17mm nylon lock nut back on the top. tighten it down. Hold the shock, let it spin. There we are. Alright, so I'm going to fall back and go put all thread lock on the other ones.